Hello guys. So in this session we are going to discuss about one of the very important topics of advanced Java, that is in servlets. It is called as session and cookies. So what is the major role that is being played by these two concepts in making a client and server connection? So all these things we are going to cover in this session, friends. So before discussing the concept, I want to tell you with an example. Now, I'm going to be a client, right? And now I'm going to make a multiple website openings with the help of certain server. For example, I want to open an Amazon website, and also I just want to open a Google website and I want to access certain pages. So how in a same amount of time, how these two processes are being carried out by me with the help of the server connection. So whenever I'm opening an Amazon website and I can place the orders by opening multiple products, by checking multiple products and what are all the reviews, what is the cost of each and every product. So all these things by making a multiple number of servings in an Amazon website which is opened by me can be done. At the same time, suddenly I can also open my Google website and that I can search for certain meaningful informations or I can make a certain access for any news, etc. So after that, once again, I'll be open another website. I can open, okay, by opening another website also, I can access any other information, right? So at the same amount of time, I'm opening Amazon and I'm opening Google and I am accessing multiple informations by using the same amount of time. So how all these things are possible? Okay, by being in a website, I can open multiple pages, right? By being in another website at the same time, I can open multiple web pages of the same website and I can access multiple informations and I can do a reply and response process. So all these things I can do. Okay, how this request and response process are being carried out by maintaining a proper communication path between these websites. Okay, how it is being done? So it is being done with the help of this session tracking. So by the word itself, you can understand that tracking. So whenever the client is accessing Amazon website, a proper track is being established until the login is done, until the logout is done. Similarly, at the same time, if I'm opening Google Access, another track, that is a separate track is established between my Google client, that is between me and the server to access Google. Both the Amazon as well as the Google will not be interrupted. How it is being done? So proper tracking is established by using this word called as session tracking. So the meaning is whenever I'm opening multiple websites through my mobile or through my desktop or whatever it is, for each and every website I just open at the same amount of time, the proper path or a proper channel is established so that no crossover happens. So for this tracking is very helpful. Okay, so the meaning is it is help to keep track of users when they make requests to the web. So tracking is nothing but separate paths are being established. Right, friends? So now you see about HTTP protocol. So what is the meaning of a HTTP protocol? So it is a stateless protocol. Meaning is now you just don't remember about session tracking, you just forget it. Okay, just I'm going to have a two website opening at the same time. Okay, that is Amazon website and Google website without the help of this session tracking. Now you don't remember this one. What will happen generally is since I'm using this HTTP protocol, if I'm going to open Google website, Amazon cannot be accessed. Okay, or if I'm going to open this Amazon website, my Google website cannot be accessed. Can you follow? So only one path will be established. Okay, only one link will be established and only one website can be accessed by me when this session tracking is not being present. Can you follow? So that is the main motive of using this session tracking since it is a stateless protocol. The request and the response of the older one, previous one. Okay. Suppose if I am opening Amazon and then I am opening Google and I start accessing Google, what will happen is Amazon communications will be stopped. Now I can access only Google. Can you follow? So that is the use of this HTTP protocol. When I am bringing this session tracking inside this HTTP protocol communication, what will happen is, as I told just now, both the websites can be accessed by me at the same time, because different roads, different paths are being established for each and every website connection. Okay, can you follow? So that is where this session tracking comes in. Can you follow? So the server is helping the client to produce multiple responses for different websites that is being accessed by the client, right? I want to explain you with an example and also with a diagram. See, I'm a client. Okay, I'm going to access Amazon and Google. First, I'll be opening this Amazon, and then I'm going to open this Google. First, I'll be opening Amazon. After opening Amazon, by opening another one new tab, I'll open this Google. Okay, so how, see, this diagram will help you to understand the concept. I'm the client, okay. So I'm giving a login. How I'll be opening all these connections? By giving a username and password, right? So that is called as login. After giving the login ID and password, it is moving to the server. Okay, so now here is what the session tracking comes in. So this will, what it will do is, if I'm going to use a session tracking in my clients of communication, when I'm going to access this Amazon first time, an ID will be created. See, a session ID will be created. See here, session ID will be created. Okay, so after creating a session ID, the server will give the response. Third step, after giving the login ID, okay, a session ID will be created for Amazon. Session ID will be created for Amazon. Then third step is this session ID. For example, session ID, let it be 11. This 11 will be attached along with my URL. Okay, Amazon is my URL. Through that only I will be making the connection. So this 11 will be attached and it is passed to my client. So now in my client side, in my tab Amazon, this ID will be presiding. Okay, so whenever I'm going to access multiple pages in Amazon, along with those multiple pages request, this session ID will also be traveling between the client and server. Can you follow? So now what I will do is, again I'm going to create a Google ID, Google URL. See, from the first you start. Since this is a new website, I'm logging in. It is going to create a session ID for Google. Can you follow? So the Google ID will be 12. It is created. So along with this 12, okay, this is called as a cookie number. 1211 is my cookie number for Amazon. 12 is the cookie number for Google. So 11 is attached with Amazon and 12 will be attached with Google. Now it is attached. Okay, so both this URL as well as this 11 and 12 are residing in my system. So what is this Amazon value? 11 and Google value is 12. Can you follow? So I have attached. Now I'm going to the tab Amazon. So in the Amazon tab, after finding certain products, I'm going to find the cost and place the order. This is another one web page of the same Amazon. Okay, so what I will do for placing the order, by being in Amazon, what will happen? As usual, I want to place the request to the server. Okay, see this good ID. Okay, Amazon along with the request, the 11 also will be traveling each and every time. Okay, understand? So each and every time when I'm just moving from client to the server, if I'm accessing Amazon, Amazon value is 11, right? Cookie value, this is called as cookie value created by the session ID. Okay, so this will be traveling to and fro frequently until I am logging out from this URL website. Can you follow, friends? So now I'm going to place the product. So along with this placing request, 11 is traveling. So what this server will do is it will check whether the client is accessing the same Amazon value. That is whether the request is coming from the same cookie ID. Okay, the response is coming from the same cookie ID. It is going to check. Yes, it is. The same client is accessing for the what request. Okay, since this 11 and this 11 is matching, the information is traveling to the same client. That is, this traveling to the same client, which is me. Okay, now can you follow? So this is where the cookie value is playing a major role. Now, if another client is coming, for example, client number C, 1 minute. So client number is C3. So he is opening Amazon. Okay, for example, another external client is opening. So again, as usual, from the step 1 login ID is created, a new session ID will be created. For example, it will be what 14. Okay, so client 3 is attached with the session ID 14, which is being traveling along with this client 3 whenever this whenever this client 3 is making request and response. Okay, so for client 1, Amazon is 11 and Google is 12. For client 3, another new client, okay, 3. For him, the session ID is 14 and the cookie value will be attached. This 14 will be attached along with this URL. So whenever client 3 is accessing, the session ID will be cross-checked. 14 now, 14 will be traveled only to client 3. If the information is coming from 11 or 12, okay, so if the same client is accessing Google, what he will do is the session ID will be checking whether this 12 is belonging to the client. That is 12. This 12 and this 12 is matching. Suppose if it is matching means this information will be passed to the client. Can you follow? So this is what the path is properly established between the respective client and the server. So this cookie will be residing in the client system until the client is logging out from the respective site. Can you follow? Right. So here you see how these sessions are established. So there are 4 ways through which we can track the sessions. Okay, so it is using cookies, hidden form fields, URL writing and HTTP session. Okay, so there are 4 main ways. So they are cookies, hidden form fields, URL rewriting and HTTP session. So just now I told, actually by that example itself, you will be able to understand what is the meaning of a cookie. So cookie is going to have the session ID attached along with it in the client's web browser. So this is the key point. Okay. So each and every client's respective websites will be recognized by this session ID which is being attached in this cookie. Guys, session ID and cookie value are same. Okay, but it will be residing. If it is residing in the client machine, it is called as a cookie ID. Okay, if the same ID is present in the server side, it is called as a session ID. Can you follow? Both are having both means same value, right? See, the server sends these cookies. Okay, once the website is created by using the login ID, what will happen? Session ID will be created, so that will be attached as a cookie to the client machine. So see, for future any request is coming from the same client, the server will recognize that whether this is the same client who is asking the request. For that, this session ID is playing very important role. Okay, so they are all called as session IDs, friends, right? So this is a simple Java program where we are writing to add the cookie value to the client side. See here, this is a class, that is cookie is a class. So an object is created. So new cookie username comma John. Okay, so username is John. I'm attaching the respective informations about the client in order to add the session ID as a cookie value in my client side. Okay, I'm setting, see, set the expiry time for this cookie as 16 to 16 means it is 1 hour. So this is a maximum age is an active method, that is, it is a built-in method through which I'm setting the expiry date of that respective cookie as 1 hour. Meaning is the connection will be terminated after this 1 hour. Okay, for the respective website. Now, once this is being created, if this username and password is same, okay, if it is being matched, we are adding a cookie to the response. So response dot add cookie. So this is the place where the session ID is attached. This is the place where the session ID is attached along with my what client side. So this is my username John along with this respective attributes. My cookie ID, that is session ID, will be added. Okay, as one of the attribute. So by these three steps, we can understand that along with the URL and the login ID and passwords, whatever I am just transferring as a request, a new session ID is added by the server to the client and it is residing at the client side and it is having an expiry or maximum age as 1 hour. Okay, so now you see these steps. When this line will play a role, what is the use of this method? Whenever a client is accessing another one web page of the same site, okay, understand, whenever the client is accessing another one web page of the same website, as I told, the server will check whether this request is coming from the same client, that is same session ID, or it is coming from another one new client. How it is checking? So it is checking by using this get cookies value. Along with the request, I told already, each and every time the cookie ID will be traveling between the client and server for each web page access. Okay, so the server will always cross check the IDs that is being attached. So this request dot cookies, it is useful for checking, okay, along with the request whether the ID is same or not. Okay, so the ID is same or not. So in order to check that, along with the request information, the ID was also sent to the server side. Okay, now you see here. So these three lines, see for loop having some methods which is called as get name and get value. Okay, so get name and get value. So what is the use of this get name? So in a normal environment, if you see, multiple clients are present and millions of clients, okay, are trying to access the same server. Okay, so by seeing, you'll be able to know that all the multiple clients are being given the response from the server within a certain amount of time. We cannot able to imagine that. Okay, so response are being given to those respective clients in a fraction of a second. Okay, so how all these things are done? So by using this type of matching, by using these types of matching. Okay, so see, C is an object which is used for checking each and every cookie ID that is coming from multiple clients. For example, 100 clients, you remember. Okay, 100 clients. For each and every client, there will be an ID. Okay, so those IDs will be different. Okay, so now C dot get name dot equals of username. Meaning is, if a client is accessing one website, so on that website he is giving the login ID as John. If this John, if it is matched, okay, what will happen? Meaning is, if C dot get name dot equals username. So this is the place where the session ID matching is done. C dot get name dot equals of username. Okay, so if username is equal to John, it will display here as welcome plus what is the value of username? It is John. If the session ID is getting matched, so it will produce the respective value that is being attached with this session ID as welcome John. Can you follow? So this is a program used for making a match between the session ID and the clients who is making the request. Okay, suppose if it does not match, it is going to access another one clients and another one session ID. Okay. So another method where we can keep track of the session is by using HTTP session. It is used as an effective method to manage the sessions, friends, right? As I explained already, a unique session is created for each user. That is, for each and every website that the user is accessing, a unique website will be created. Okay, how this works. So session gets created for each user. So the multiple requests that is being coming from the same client are being identified by the server with the session ID that is being attached for that client. See, only the session ID goes back as a cookie value to the client, while all the other details stay on the server, right? Can you follow? So no other details are being shared. It is being prevented. Only the session ID that is being created is being moved on to the client. See, these are all certain methods, built-in methods used in Java servlets for creating sessions. See, get session. A session is created by using this command, get session. So the username is stored in the session using set attribute. We are creating session ID, for example 1 2 3, like this. A session ID will be created automatically by giving this command get session, and all the user informations are being stored under this set attribute. For example, username, his password, other informations, whatever you are accessing or whatever the client is giving, all those informations are stored by using this set attribute. So another attribute is get attribute. So if I want to retrieve those informations of the user, I can view by using this get attribute. Okay, so next you see, I told, isn't it? This session ID will be alive until I am logging out from the respective website. Okay, so how this will be logged out, how the session ID will be expired? Okay, by using this method invalidate. So this will execute automatically once I am logging out from my respective website. So these are all the very important methods in servlets for creating and accessing the session ID and for destroying the session ID. It is get session, set attribute, get attribute, and invalidate. Please, you must have to remember all these attributes for implementing a program. See, this is a simple program for creating a session. This is a class, HTTP session class, default class that is being present for creating sessions. So the object name is session for the HTTP session class. So here request.getSession. Can you follow? So actually we are using three types of classes: HTTP session request, HTTP HTTP request, HTTP response, and HTTP session. So all these things will be writing in this main method, public static void main. In that method we'll be creating three parameters, right? One is HTTP request, HTTP response, and HTTP session. So request is one of the object for HTTP request, because client request, when he is making the client request, we are creating a session ID, right? So now to store the respective data in the session, I'm using set attribute. What I'm storing? Username value, the value is John. Okay, I have stored. So now where it will be getting stored? In web.xml directory. After storing, I want to retrieve. Okay, I want to retrieve the data from the session in order to give the response to the client from the server side. How it is possible? So this is the method. So string username session dot get attribute of username. So what is the username? Username is John. I'm accessing the value that is being stored under this username. So what is the value? John. So that is being retrieved and stored under this variable username. Okay, see, the response is given as what? Out.println welcome plus John. So the answer will be welcome John. So that will be displayed on the client machine from the server side once the session ID is being matched. Can you follow? So after logging out or after the expiry time is being over, this will execute. I'm invalidating the session ID. So the session ID will be completely lost and the connection between the client and the server will be disconnected. Right? Can you follow? Okay. As there are multiple advantages because of these session establishments, okay, so there are also certain disadvantages. So what all those disadvantages are: session hijacking and session fixation, and there are many other problems that is being present. So the session ID is the main part through which the client and the server is making the communication. So once the session ID is being leaked to the third person, what will happen? What will happen? So the session ID is going to hold all the personal information of the clients, his username, his password, his OTP number, or whatever the online transactions he is making, important transactions that is he is making. Okay, if I didn't log out properly, this session ID will be persisting in my path until the expiry date is over. Okay, what will happen? So this session ID can be accessed by some other unauthorized person. So and he will start to use my username and password easily. So because of that, his personal information will be taken off. Okay, so this is one of the security risks that is being present when I am not properly logging out from my system. Okay, next you see this one, HTTP. If I'm not using HTTPS and if I use HTTP, this type of problem will happen. Okay, so HTTPS is a security feature that is being attached along with my URL. So whenever I'm going to create a session ID, or if I want to access a session ID, I want to give the URL as HTTPS. Please remember this. So because of this, my session ID will not be easily taken out by any other intruders, that is man in the middle attack or any other intruders. And next is session fixation. So as I told just now, these types of hackings may be easily occurring once you don't properly log out from the respective website. So friends, that's all about this session. So now we'll be having a clear idea about what is the important impact of creating session IDs and how we must have to carefully maintain and use our website's communications. So this session ID is helping for us in multiple ways in order to have a proper communication between different websites accessed by different clients. So without this session ID, our information tracking or information passing is not possible. So friends, this session will be really very useful for you, and I also assure you that these types of videos will be posted even in near future. Okay friends, thank you.